All right, welcome back. Thanks for coming to another one. Today, like I promised, cheese stuffed, smoked venison meatballs. So for my meat mix, I like to trim up my own meat. This isn't gonna be a grind video, we've already done that, but I wanted to show you the amounts and what I'm using. We're going with 1 pound of finely trimmed venison, free range, never lied to, paleo, not vegan. A pound of trimmed pork, and with this, I went with the boneless style country ribs. I trimmed it up, got a lot of that pork fat off of there. We don't want that pork fat, but for the fat, what I am using is some of the brisket trimmings from one of the last videos. You remember trimming up the brisket, I said we're gonna use this later. Here's some of that brisket trimmings right now. So again, I've got a pound of venison, a pound of pork, and a pound of brisket trimmings. What I'm gonna do with my little KitchenAid grinder is I'm gonna go with the coarse plate first, and then we're gonna put it through a second grind, and we're gonna do the smaller plate. Let's get this going. So just like you're laying tiles on the floor. Little venison, grab from the other box. Little pork, get that in there. All right, so meat's ground up, chilling in the fridge. What we want to do is get our seasonings ready to go. I'm going to go with breadcrumbs and add a little bit of moisture to them. It's almost like making a meatloaf, but we're going to season it differently. So I went with about 1.5 cups of fresh breadcrumbs. And to get some moisture in this, I want to do, for flavor, I want to do about 3/4, maybe a little bit more, of a cup of some good whiskey. And don't skimp on the whiskey. If you wouldn't drink it, don't cook with it. So we're going to get this in here, and you want to do this ahead of time. Mix it up. This is just gonna get a chance to soak in to these breadcrumbs. And parents, if you're thinking about feeding this to your kids, don't worry, the alcohol cooks off. All we're gonna be left with is a good toasty flavor and a little added aroma with the smoke. So just getting this all mixed in. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. All right, a tablespoon of fresh chopped thyme in the mix. About 1/4 cup fresh chopped basil. About 4 to 5 cloves of fresh pressed or minced garlic. We like garlic around here, maybe 5, maybe 6. Right, what's the rule? Garlic doesn't need a reason. If you think it's too much garlic, just add some more. Don't be scared. Okay. All right, next up, about 1/2 of an onion, finely diced. You don't want big chunks, finely diced. And maybe a little for the chickens. Next up, about 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. Okay, so salt and pepper, this part's the taste. Go with about a heaping teaspoon of salt. About the same with the pepper, black pepper, about a heaping teaspoon of black pepper, but that's on you. Adjust that how you want. In fact, this entire recipe, adjust it how you want. This is just a base, you run with it. This is how we like to do it. All right, next, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Any little Worcestershire sauce will do. That's 1. That's dose. It doesn't always have to rhyme. Okay, 2 eggs, farm fresh, homegrown, free range, never lied to, cage-free eggs. All right. So we've got this bowl with all our mix in it. Now's the time to put our breadcrumbs back in here, but I want a bigger bowl because we're gonna be mixing this stuff up. Like I said, it's just like mixing up a meatloaf. I need a little bit more room, so we're gonna bring in the big one. All right, let's transfer this over. There we go. together. Let's get our crumbs in there. Oh yeah. Smells good. All right. Breadcrumbs in. Let's mix it up. Mixed up. All right, so for the cheese stuffed portion of these meatballs, it's real simple. I use string cheese. I think pretty much everybody uses the mozzarella string cheese for mine, because my meatballs are gonna be a little bit larger than golf ball size. So I'm gonna cut these into about 1/2 inch little cubes and stuff them right in as I'm making my meatballs. Okay, once you get enough cheese sticks out, those little plastic wraps, probably the hardest part of this whole recipe. I just kind of form them up like this. Boom, just like that. And some of them got a little big. Some of them need to be cut down. No, maybe we'll eat that one. Okay, before you make your meatballs and you stuff these things, now's the time to make any adjustments. It's always a good idea, if you're mixing meat, take a little bit, right, and cook it up first. Here we go. All right, let's give this a peek. All right, let's get this off of here. All right, let's give this a shot. It smells delicious. Mmm. Oh. Mmm. My gosh, that is so tender. Mmm. No, don't change a thing. That's it. That's it. Hmm. Let's roll up some meatballs and stuff them. Okay. So again, for the meatballs, we like to go about, it varies, usually about a little bigger than golf ball size. Just take one, get it roughly where you want it. A little chunk of cheese, stuff it right in the center. Start forming that thing around it. Boom, just like that. Boom. Ready to go on the smoker. All right, sitting right around 300. That's just where I want it. Oh, we might have a problem. There we go. After a little adjustment, meatballs in. Okay, once this gets back up to 300, we're gonna let it ride until the meatballs reach an internal of 120. We're not done at 120, but what we're gonna do is take our skillet with that homemade marinara I was telling you about. We're gonna put the meatballs in the skillet, marinara in the skillet, skillet back in the smoker until they reach about 160, 165 internal. I'm leaning more towards 160 on this just because I don't want the meatballs to dry out. They'll still cook, it'll be fine. Okay, so while the meatballs are on the smoker, the marinara is pretty straightforward. I just got my cast iron skillet over there heating up. I got my last jar of tomatoes that I canned from a year or two ago. Last jar, coupled with, we're gonna slice up some tomatoes from this year. I got some carrots, really finely diced carrots. That's gonna add just some succulent sweetness. Again, more oregano, and of course, garlic. I'm out of basil, so I'm gonna have to go with a dried basil. I am gonna kick it up with a little bit of some crushed red pepper flakes. Don't be afraid to heat this thing up. Let's get these carrots on, they're pretty dense. All right, let's get a little olive oil in here. Dense carrots, they go in first. A little more dense, it'll take longer for them to break down. Then we'll get our garlic in. Right after the carrots start to get a little soft, I want these to render down. All right, next up, we get our garlic in there. All right, our carrots and garlic are doing exactly what we want them to do. Next, most dense, the tomatoes, the fresh tomatoes. This is our last of our canned tomatoes from 2019. We'll get this in. Man, the smell on those tomatoes, of canned tomatoes, so good. Let's turn this up just a little bit. Just checked our meatballs. We're sitting at about 100 degrees internal, not quite there yet, so we still got time for this to go. All right, as this begins to simmer and get going, let's put our crushed red pepper in, about a heaping teaspoon. We got some crushed, dried basil, about 2 tablespoons, and our fresh chopped thyme, oregano, our fresh chopped oregano. Boy, that's twice I did that. Oh yeah. Give this some time to just kind of render down a little bit. Man, it already smells so good. That fresh oregano is just ridiculous. And of course the garlic and the smell from those canned tomatoes. Man, home canned tomatoes. I don't do it enough, but I love it. Oh yeah, this is looking right. Let's go get those meatballs.
All right, let's check these bad boys out.
Oh yeah, looking right. All right, we pulled the meatballs inside. Man, these things have some incredible smoke on them. I want to do the transition to the skillet in here. This marinara, I don't want to say traditional, I just did, but it's not, I don't know what traditional is. I'm not Italian. I know, I guess my 23andMe kind of says different, but I don't know. I don't cook Italian, but we're going to do the meatball transition in here, and then we're going to get it back out on the smoker. So for cheese on top, we got some more Parmesan, but I had those mozzarella cheese sticks, the string cheese stuff, so I just sliced up a couple of them real small, right? We're just gonna lay those in the pan with these meatballs. Let's get that done. Photobomb. All right, here we go. It seems there might be a few left over. And then here's our cheese. We'll just lay some cheese, additional mozzarella. Just kind of lay it in there. Doesn't have to be special, doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be on every meatball. Just get it in there. Okay, now this goes back out on the smoker just to finish it off. Let's get this skillet in the smoker. Now, because we like cheese, we're gonna throw on a little extra mild cheddar and some shredded Asiago. Let's let the smoke hit that for a little bit, melt everything up, and be ready to go. All right, let's take a peek. Oh yeah, time to get this bad boy off. This is looking right. Okay, there it is. Boom. Cheese stuffed venison meatballs, smoked with the homemade marinara. Let's get one of these and see how good they really are. Okay, let's dig in. That looks like a likely candidate right there. Oh, a little bit of cheese. Let's get some more of that marinara. Right up on top. All right, let's check this out. Oh man, there it is. Oh, good Lord. Wow. That homemade marinara, man, all kinds of flavor in there. The garlic is not too overpowering. It's perfect. Man, the venison is coming through. Not gamey, but it's you can definitely tell. There's venison, some brisket trimmings in there too, and some good pork. These are some damn good meatballs, man. The smoke on these is subtle. It's almost like a fine layer of silk, just kind of wafting its way through. This is amazing. This is one of our favorites. We don't do it all the time. And to be honest with you, first time we use the cast iron skillet in the smoker, I will do it again. This is so good. Man, I can't wait for the fam to get some of this. Thanks a lot for checking this one out, guys. If you haven't used your cast iron skillet in your smoker, you should. Just make sure you got protection on it. Remember, season, season, season. Man. Cheese stuffed, smoked venison meatballs with homemade marinara. Bang, bang, skillet gang. Today we're going with, come on, man. All right, take two. But you can't be in the background with your pants sagging and no shirt on.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can.
Yes, I
It's
can.
a family channel.
I can.
It's a family channel. This we've got about a pound of, let's do that over, because what are you doing? What are you doing?
I was about to start flexing.
Stop. I'm only gonna do this once, come on.
I want to be in the video.
Okay, you are always in the video. Okay, so hold on.